Yeah, hi. Just a heads up, this guide was finished last year in 6.88 before Dota 3 and all that. So, the information is mostly still on point, but just a warning. I released this to my Patreon supporters because they get videos a few days earlier. Then immediately 7.0 came out. So I decided to wait on releasing this until I made my 7.0 addendum videos. If you're watching this, by the time you've finished watching this, 30 minutes of 7.0 guides in 3 videos are going to be uploaded. I guess take this as a little appetizer. See you in a bit. I know what you're thinking, don't worry. The closer we get to the most played of all heroes, the higher the odds that the video is just a subtle only way to play against guide. I released a Slark video doing that, and now I'm back with PA. Phantom Assassin is currently the second most played hero in the game in an eternal fight for first place against Pudge. Logically, the closer you get to 100% pick rate, the closer you'll get to like a 50% win rate. And yet both of these heroes are over 50%, so let's change that. A Pudge video breaking down him to his individual polygons will come out later. Right now it's time to destroy Phantom Assassin. The only way to play Power Pyramid shows in general the heroes that both counter and are countered by PA. First off, her tier 1 counters the heroes that at no point have to actually attack her. PA is one of the weakest heroes in the game health-wise, and because her kit tells her to get damage, she rarely even compensates for it with items. Tusk has a special mention because even though he attacks her, Walrus Punch can't actually miss. Razor is also a special tier 1 hero for the fact that his passive means you can do this. And here are the rest. All in all, you have 5 or so hits to kill someone. If you can kill someone in that time, you're set for the rest of the game. If someone can survive the burst, they are now in a position to kill the solo PA who just wasted her 1 escape to get closer to them. Tiny is tanky and Craggy exterior is almost guaranteed to proc. Bane is tanky enough and can reduce your damage. Troll Warlord can straight up kill you regardless, sooner or later. So let's watch that fight in its entirety. And tier 3 are just heroes who can stun through BKB. Like Troll Warlord. But in reality, PA isn't really hard countered by much. The reason a PA is picked in competitive games at least, is to just make use of her incredibly early to mid game damage and to counter heroes who stay at the back of the fights. Drow Ranger Sniper, Warlock. So her tier 1 counters become a shared group of heroes who come online in the late game and heroes who like their distance. You can also consider PA the counter to man fighters just in case you didn't already. Any hero who depends on Bash's lifesteal or just stacking hits to deal their damage. In reality, the only conventional man fighter who isn't countered by Phantom Assassin is Troll Warlord. But finally, as everybody already knows, PA counters supports, and with that fact in mind, suddenly the entire unbalanced support to carry dichotomy makes sense. You start playing Dota at 1k, PA's most prevalent tier. You pick a support because the friend who introduces you to Dota picks a carry. You lane together because you don't know what you're doing, but you're having a blast. You're told to go ward. Oh, okay, that sounds like something I can do. I'm not very good at this game, but there's a big ward spot, and I've been told how to buy wards. This must be where you put it. I'm gonna go, and then you meet PA. She instantly kills you, she runs off, your teammates flame you, and you ask your friend, why? Why did this happen? And your friend just shrugs and says, well, it's PA, she kills supports. And so you never pick a support again. I'm sort of just depressed after that. Alrighty, PA's ability build 90% of the time is this. And here's everything you need to know about those skills. Stifling Dagger counts as an attack, although it has True Strike even if PA does not. It can't miss even if PA is blinded or something. Even though it's a ranged spell, the attack is melee and therefore can cleave. The cleave works by hitting in a circle directly behind the dagger's impact direction. The 75 base damage as well as the percent to attack damage is affected by Lifesteal, Crit, and Quelling Blade's ability. The percent damage is increased by double damage, and so is decreased by Enfeeble and Anchor Smash and all that. Both are also blocked with damage blocked from shields. The projectile gives vision, and the impact gives 3 seconds of vision at the location it hit, and the projectile blocks neutral camps. But please just trust me on that. I'm a young man. I want to spend the next few years living a fulfilling life, not trying to set up a scenario where that can be shown. Phantom Strike can now be cast on magic immune heroes, but it can't be cast on couriers. Lucky for the couriers. Missed attacks don't count towards the 4 attacks either, but you immediately lose the effect on successfully connecting a hit with another target. And did you know that Blur used to have a sound effect when it was active? I actually don't know why it was removed. I'll play it right now. So basically this played on a loop every moment that you had Blur on. It would only ever turn off when you were near enemies. Strangely enough, a lot of PAs ran into the enemy team alone and died in this era. But seriously, Blur has a radius of 1600, so you can actually use it to check Roshan. Stand in any of these locations and watch for your Blur being turned off, because if it's turned off, it means there's an enemy in the pit. And finally, it's pronounced coup de grace. Apparently the French exist in the Dota universe. I can finally see why more people would prefer to play LOL. I kid, obviously. I have no problem with the French. I don't even understand why people do, although I guess there is a surrender option in LOL as well, so now I just don't know what to think. Obviously, I'm totally kidding, just playing off of these old, confused stereotypes people have of other people. But that's just typical Kiwi behavior, right? Coup de grace uses pseudo RNG, so let's learn about it. Basically, the best time to fight a PA is right after she's just crit. Pseudo RNG starts the chance at much lower than the written value, and after every failed proc, it raises the percentage. At 15 hits, the odds of critting are finally higher than the odds of not critting, and this is where the idea of priming your hits comes into play. Finally, you know what all those pros are talking about. Maybe the pros will learn what they're talking about too. Someday. Alrighty, PA's build changes depending on the tier, but in general it's either hard carry with this, or mid-game powerhouse with this. Both builds give extreme amounts of damage, a form of lifesteal, and absolutely no health whatsoever until PA gets BKB. She's completely countered by spells. All spells, in fact, so enjoy the over 500 ways of stopping her in her tracks. If, for some reason, PA gets BKB first, then she has no damage and becomes ignorable anyway. Basically, the time she's the most powerful is also the time she's the weakest, like Goku when he's charging up a Spirit Bomb, and he's standing there squatting with his nuts ripe for the kicking. PA's gonna spam her dagger. She does that. If she buys Blightstone, buy Ring of Protection. If not, buy Stout Shield, and either, grab a Magic Stick. With the nerfs, she's nearly always in charged range. But lastly, here's something that's not really talked about a lot. PA is usually at the other end of a team fight to her teammates. She excels at picking off people on the rim, and for that reason, all of a sudden, the ability to go invisible counters her. Mirana, Shadow Blades, and every form of invis force her into buying her own dusts, and this is Phantom Assassin. A carry, a very, very simple carry, a carry most played in 2k or below. If you're down there struggling with just buying support items, you can have a field day with a Shadow Blade against a PA. And very conveniently, Shadow Blade builds into Silver Edge, which not only disables her evasion, but also her crit and lowers all of her damage potential by 50%. And that's the best tip I can give. You can tell because it's right at the end of the video after most people lose interest and close the tab. You know, just in case I have a random PA myself.